Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a T40. It's the Tier 4 American tank destroyer, and it's located on the west. Is it the west spawn? Trying to remember. No, it's the south spawn of Ruinberg, or north spawn of Ruinberg. Sorry, get it right. And it's being commanded by the demontaxidriver. And battle has commenced. Well, what can I tell you about the T40? Well, it's basically an experimental tank destroyer that was built on the chassis of a M3 Lee, and you can see that moulded hull, and he's taking up position in a bush. There's a variety of guns that you can actually use with this tank destroyer, and the one that demontaxidriver is using is the 76mm. It can actually use a 105mm or 10.5cm derp gun, which can do a phenomenal amount of damage, 410 to 350 hit points in one shot, but it's got a very poor reload. This gun will do quite a lot of damage, 115 hit points, and it's got a good penetration, 128mm, and can fire about 4 rounds a minute. And his first target's turned up to Panzer 38 NA, and he's tracked him. Now that's a German Tier 4 scout, and you can see the amount of damage he's doing to it, and he's out the game just like that. That was disappointing for that Panzer 38 NA, because he's now no longer in the game, and he's back in the garage wondering why he did that. Yep. Now the T40 never actually got into production, never saw service either, which you'd think is a pretty unusual. But what they did instead is they went for the M10 Wolverine, and that did go into production. Okay, now I think he's had enough of this position. The reason being is that the enemy seems to have done very well coming through the town centre. They've defeated most of the forces that were sent to meet them, and although the scores are fairly even, I think they're about to receive a lot of enemy tanks. Yeah, that one went into the wreck, I think. There's a Valentine too. No, he hit the rubble. He's got to be careful now, because those enemy tanks got behind cover, and they probably know where he is. So he's destroying the cover to enable him to shoot. There's an M5 Stuart. Got a nice round into him. Hetzer. Yay, nice penetration. Went straight through. Largo. Well, he tracked him, and that one went straight through the front plate, so nice shot. No, he tracked him, but he was taken out by the M37 Arty. Oh no, it's actually the Panzer Sibs Fafelietta. And there's the Stuart. Oh, the Stuart's come over and realises where he is, trying to get close so he can finish off go after the T40. And that was a big mistake. Oh, the round went low. He got a shot in, but not that time. You can see it can do a fair amount of damage. This particular 76mm do 115 hit points off a shot, and that's some standard ammo. About the same with APCR. Now, demontaxidriver's using standard ammo here, but he lost the track there, and that was off the Saab M43, the Swedish tank destroyer. No, he's not going to move from this position, because there's the Saab. Okay, can finish him off. 110, low roll. That was a low roll. Next round, and he got him. Now he's moving forward. He's got 3 kills already. Somebody is capping. There's somebody in the cap, but he can't see him. There they are. M3 Lee. Easily go through the armour of this tank. No problem whatsoever. And he's finished him off as well. Fighter badge. It's actually quite a good little tank destroyer, this. You know, with a good defensive position, and this is a good defensive position, the enemy are going to be hard-pressed to try and get him. Now he's got those wrecks to help him as well. There's somebody down there firing at him, because the rounds keep hitting and bouncing. And there's a T28 down there. Ah, that's what bounced off him. 110 hit points of that T28. There's also a Valentine 2 nearby. There's the T28. Okay. Well, we know where he is, and yes, he squeezed around through, and he's got the High Calibre, got him into the hull. But that T28 is using the Rex. Now he's exposed. Finish him off. One more shot. Yes, 79 hit points, finishes him off. And there's only one tank remaining, it's that Valentine 2. And he's on very low hit points. One shot from demontaxidriver, and he's out the game. Now he's going to get as close as he can, put a round into him. He's in that little alcove, so you've got to watch out as you go past here, otherwise you could get accidentally shot in the side. But he's sitting in that little alcove, and they've capped out at the other end. Oh, that was so disappointing. They could have taken out that Valentine too, but the game was over. So let's have a look and see what the end of battle results are. Well, it was only a first class tanker for demontaxidriver, but he kept that cap clear of enemy by hitting anything that came towards the cap, and he did a really good job. He got a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He got 5. He got a Judas medal for taking out 2 tanks that did damage to him during the battle. He got a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He got 5. He got a 5 for effect for doing more damage than the hit points to his vehicle. But best of all, he picked up the High Calibre because he dealt the most damage in the battle, at least 20% of the enemy hit points, and 1,000 hit points in total, at least. So he did 1,285 hit points, got 5 kills, which is the highest. Got the highest base XP, 968 for that one. He fired 27 rounds, got 18 direct hits, 14 penetrations. He did 1,285 hit points of damage, of which 606 were at more than 300 meters. You can see he was actually hitting those enemy tanks right down the other end of the road, because he could see them. He had good view range. And the view range actually on this vehicle, by the way, is, if I check my stats, 310 meters. So he was actually spotting them as far away as he could and still putting shots into them at that long range. He received 5 hits during the battle, and 2 of them were penetration and 3 were non-penetration. He did have an M3 hull, or in fact that vehicle does have an M3 hull, but the enemy was actually firing at, very close to his tracks, and I think his tracks absorbed some of the shots. He blocked damage of 220 hit points from those 3 non-penetrations, so it's quite a decent amount. He spotted 1 enemy vehicle. He damaged 7 of the enemy and killed 5 of them, and he did damage assistance of 217 hit points. And he managed to stop or get 13 defense points on the cap because the enemy were capping the M3 Lee, and he took them out in the cap. On a premium account, he earned 23,211 credits, and after repair and ammunition resupply, and the ammunition's very cheap, he came away with 19,995 credits. He received 1,452 XP, got a personal missions payout for the same for 100%, and took away 2,904 experience points altogether. So yes, this particular TD is actually quite a good one. I think people find it a bit restrictive in the fact that the gun arc is not that great, and again, it's built on the turret or the body of an M3 Lee, and the guns, well, it has a lot of guns that you can select, and demontaxidriver elected to use the 76mm, and it can be quite useful because it's got 4 shots per minute, which means if you do get attacked by a large number of enemy tanks, just as he did there, he can fire again fairly quickly after he's fired 1 shot. But the advantage is that it does have that 10.5cm howitzer, the M3, which means you can derp tanks, and derping tanks is a lot of fun if you've got teammates to back you up when you're reloading, because it does take a fair amount of time to reload the derp gun, but it's just so much fun watching those tanks dissolve every time you fire 1 round at them. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this replay. If you did, please give it a like and do subscribe to our channel, and hopefully it'll be your replay that I'll be featuring in the next video.